All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating concept, both astrologically and psychologically, called the altruism of Venus. If you've ever wondered why some people speak the language of love, not through those loud, grand declarations, but through quiet, steadfast acts of support, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to dive in and see exactly how the Venus in the sixth house placement reveals the real transformative power of everyday service. Let's just jump right into our central thesis here. Care and kindness flow through acts of support. Seriously, for this Venus in the sixth house placement, you can just throw that traditional Hollywood script right out the window. Forget standing in the pouring rain with the boombox, right? True romance for this placement is all about deep, grounded devotion. It's like making absolutely sure your partner's car has a full tank of gas before they head out on a long trip. That's the real stuff. So you might be wondering, what does this actually look like when we're navigating the messy, totally unpredictable chaos of everyday life? Like, how does this somewhat abstract concept of altruistic love actually show up when your alarm clock goes off on a typical Tuesday morning? Let's look at Section 1, the meaning of devotion, redefining romance. This placement really flips the script on how we even define romance. Having a natural tendency to express love through helpful actions means that, honestly, organizing a messy spreadsheet for a stressed-out colleague, or just quietly doing the dishes after a loud dinner party, that is the ultimate act of devotion. They aren't avoiding romance at all. They're actually embedding it right into the fabric of necessity. Tapping into that meticulousness we often associate with the sixth house, their love language is just incredibly practical. Moving on to Section 2, the inner need for order, finding peace in the routine. Okay, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. For these folks, helping is not a burden. It's not a chore. True, deep emotional satisfaction literally comes from assisting others. And they aren't doing it to be martyrs or to keep some kind of mental scorecard either. Bringing order to someone else's chaos actively soothes their own soul. So when they help you, they're fulfilling their own emotional needs just as much as your practical ones. Kind of a win-win, right? You can see this inner landscape really clearly here. There's this almost magnetic inclination to just offer support in daily life situations. It's driven by a strong desire to maintain peace in routine environments. Think about bringing calm to a totally chaotic school drop-off or a really tense board meeting. Genuine comfort is found in creating that order and balance for others. They are practically the human equivalent of a stabilizing anchor in a turbulent sea. Which brings us to Section 3, building stronger relationships. Love as an action. This is where the dynamic gets super interesting. On one hand, in routine environments, the primary goal is maintaining peace and creating order. But when you apply that to social relationships, on the other hand, those exact same traits translate into an incredibly attractive personality that's fueled by practical attention. The very qualities that make them so amazing at organizing life are exactly what make them deeply compelling and magnetic partners. So that attractive personality naturally blooms through gentle, supportive behavior. I mean, think about it. In a world where everyone is practically shouting for attention, there is something incredibly alluring about someone who just quietly steps up to help. Trust isn't built on flashy promises here. It's built on the reliable, practical care they consistently offer, which objectively improves their relationships and makes their loved ones' lives just a little bit easier. Finally, let's look at Section 4, success through service, the outward impact. This creates a really fascinating snowball effect as this energy moves outward. First, foundational harmony is built from the ground up through cooperation and service. Then, that harmony allows those everyday acts of kindness to directly strengthen workplace and social relationships, mostly because, well, people just really want to work with someone who genuinely supports them. And ultimately, this all culminates in career success. It's honestly no surprise this placement absolutely thrives in service-oriented or caregiving roles. Their success is a direct byproduct of their genuine desire to just be of use. As we wrap up this explainer, we've seen how the altruism of Venus transforms the totally mundane into something kind of magical, turning everyday chores into romance and quiet service into real success. So I want to leave you with this thought to mull over. How will you use practical care to transform your relationships today? What is one small, completely silent act of service you could perform right now that would actually speak way louder than 1,000 grand declarations? Think about that for a bit. Catch you in the next explainer.